rehab
Oh, yeah.
center
Uh-huh.
too. When I
The
got
new
to
Duke
see
one?
the bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I haven't seen that.
Welcome everyone. I'll call to order the Apex Public Art Committee meeting for April 21st, 2025. And our first order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting on March 17th, 2025. Any discussion first? If not, the motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from 17th of March, 2025.
There's a motion. Second.
Second.
Second from Susan. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting minutes pass. Okay, town liaison report, Taylor.
None at this time, but I'll have plenty in old and new business.
Okay, great. On the chairperson's report, just one item to mention. I was in contact with a person that's working on augmented reality type work that can enhance public art and other things around town, I guess. So it's just kind of early talks, preliminary stuff. So we're not quite ready to bring anything forward, but wanted to just let you know that there's a little kind of discussion of that going on in the background. Once it develops a little bit further, I'll share more with this team about what that might mean for us and what we could potentially incorporate into some of our projects, either current that we already have, and maybe do something to enhance them, take the next step with that, or just something new in the future. Okay, so I just want to let everybody know. Some conversations going on around that. Okay. Nothing else from me, so we'll see no public comment. I think we'll move right on to old business. So, the mural at White Oak Creek. Taylor.
All right. So you'll see me do some calisthenics today. I'll go back and forth.
Yeah.
All presentation here. So what you'll see here, and you do have some printouts in front of you as well, is Sean Kernick has officially started painting and started some sketches over at White Oak Creek Greenway. He is still expected to finish by April 30th. We do have a little bit of wiggle room with his contract just shortly into May, but he has updated me and said that he should still be finished by April 30, so that is good. I would definitely encourage all of you to go out and visit the site before the end of the month so that you can kind of see his process. What you'll see here is the furthest bottom right item. You'll see the crawfish is kind of like how he sketches them out. It's and then above that you've got the fish, and then of course you can see the turtle. I think Tom had a better photo. I went real quick on Thursday after work, and it's a lot more defined than what this picture is not doing it any justice. But you can see his strokes with the way that he uses his spray gun and whatnot. It's very, very beautiful, and it's nice and bright already. So that's been really exciting to finally see come to life, really.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I definitely encourage anybody to go out there when they can, because it's pretty amazing. So it's going to be a great feature for that Greenway and for the town.
That's all I have for that one.
All right, thank you. Okay, any questions on that one? We're in good shape there. Okay. Sculpture walk. Sculptures are in, so hopefully you've seen those around town. Everything went really well. Thank you to the town staff. Great job supporting the artists and making sure everything went smoothly and without incidents. So it was super. Thank you, Susan, for being out there as well. It's always exciting to see them come in, and everybody really appreciate them. Some of the property owners came out to visit with the artists, take some photos with them and such while the installations were going on, which was awesome. Please encourage your friends to get out there and yourself. The AutoCast is updated, so it's got the photos and everything there. Taylor, I know we'll replace those with professional photography. For now, they're my snapshots, but at least they're of the location, so they look pretty good. And there's a senior walk that Susan and I are going to be leading in May, so that's kind of a guided tour in a way. So that'll be fun. We've done that the last couple of years, so looking forward to that. And then the sculptures that we purchased are in position as well at the depot and at the police station.
It looks really great having two right there. It looks really impressive.
Good.
Seeing the two of them next to each other.
Yeah, cool. And then Taylor, this week I think the signs go up for the voting. Is that right?
Yeah. So hopefully by the end of tomorrow. I know they've been working on some of them today. But not only the signs for the voting, but also the plaques with all of the artist information should be up hopefully by the end of tomorrow. They've been working on them today.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so I encourage folks to again go out and vote. You don't have to see them all to vote, because you rate each sculpture, so you're not saying necessarily that you're ranking them. You can vote on each one and give them a rating. So allows people to vote even if they don't get a chance to see them all, or they do them at different times or whatever.
When does the voting end?
Mid-June. Okay. Yeah. All right. Any questions?
One, Tom. So I think last year we put up solar lighting, and there was one piece, the piece at Hunter Street Park, the kinetic piece that spins. The artist and his wife were saying that when they had it in their space, they had 4 shooting up. I mean, would that be okay to get more lighting?
We are getting new lights.
Okay.
So enhancing it to a degree.
Okay.
We don't have that many planned for any of the locations,
Yeah.
but you know, I think we have some remaining from last time, and we're getting new ones, so we can
Yeah.
take a look at it and
Okay.
see if it makes sense for something like that. Yeah, that one will be a little bit more challenging because of its height and
Yes.
it's kind of narrow
Yes.
also. But that's a good feedback.
Well-
Actually, one of the artists installed his own lights. I don't know if you saw that,
Yeah.
Taylor.
No, where?
Paris Alexander did at
Uh-huh. Oh,
Icarus.
good.
So he installed a couple of lights
Uh-huh.
there. I haven't seen it at night yet, but those were put in. So, but that's good.
Well, and I really love being with the artist during the installation because you get a lot of like nuggets of information
Yeah.
from them. And that one in particular, the kinetic one, remind me his first name, Lawrence, was there are lots of different almost like leaves that he screws in. Like I don't know how many, but a lot. But he did a technique where he used, I think, a blowtorch, and the heat created a spectrum, a prism effect, and actually causing colors. And so things like that I would not have known. But very interesting to talk to the artists. I really enjoyed that.
That's a good part of being there.
Yes. Yeah, it was good.
All right.
And definitely go through. I know, Tom, you said that AutoCast is updated.
Yeah.
Definitely go through and listen to those.
Yes.
They're like mini interviews, if you will,
Yeah.
where the artist has the opportunity to give a little bio about themselves, but has the opportunity to kind of talk about the piece too.
Yeah.
There was one of them I was listening to this morning, and it was by it's the gentleman who did the Duncan Commons piece.
Kevin, I guess.
Kevin. Yeah.
His description is really beautiful of how he's describing his piece and how he makes it, and how he and the I-beams are born in the same area, and so he felt a lot of connection to those materials too. And so it was just really special, you know, those little nuggets, like you said, make it that much more special.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Buffalo, New York there.
Yes.
All right, very good. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Hey, Ewan. Welcome. Sorry for being late. No problem. All right, let's see. Next one up, crosswalk art. So, Taylor.
Alrighty. So in front of you, you'll see 3 designs. While I'm giving you these next few bullet points, go ahead and take a gander at those. The meeting's not only on March 27th, but also on April 16th with selected artist Mayanthi Jarawadina went very well. We had some good attendance from our representative for downtown as well as some town staff on those. And thank you guys for making some time to be on those calls to give your input to our artist. She put together 3 thumbnails for the group to vote on their favorite. The way that voting will work tonight is you'll see the sheet in front of you. Option 1, 2, and 3. You'll write your 1, 2, and 3 next to each option. So 1 being your top choice and 3 being your last choice. Once you've put your 1, 2, and 3 next to the designs, you can put your paperwork right in front of my desk, or I can my spot, or I can come and collect those, and we'll be able to get through that voting. So go ahead and take a minute, look at those. Again, 1 is your top choice, 3 is your last choice, and then I'll come by and get those. So the public review will be launched tomorrow based on the selected and highest rated design. There will be an A-frame outside the alley, as well as voting live on town social media.
Can we offer amendments to these?
Yes. If we find that we all have the similar idea of an amendment with the highest vote, we can vote, let's say, we vote for item number 1 with this amendment, and then we can vote from that. 2 last points, and then we can talk about it. The Traffic and Infrastructure Department is working through the traffic management part of this project with myself. That is a process as we work through what is the safest route for. It's the process to figure out what's the safest route to make sure that Mayanthe has a safe way and safe time painting, and we're still hoping to get this painted in the month of June. Okay, we can talk about the design if you like, and just let me know your thoughts. I know most of you are on the call, so let's hear it.
So my initial thought was that 2 and 3 had more of the arts, I guess, and the top one has a lot of florals and things like that, which isn't what our intent was, but I really like the feature of the reel and the way that flows through. I think that was something we all talked about on the call, of having that incorporated pretty strongly. It is in the others, but it's kind of more subtle, so I don't know if that could be almost lifted and put in one of the others, where they have, again, the masks, which is an indication of the arts, the microphone, the painting going on, again, things that you don't necessarily see in the first one. That was my thought.
Yeah, I'm with you on the. There are some major elements of, like, number 1 seems to resonate very, very well with me, but there are some big elements of option 2 that I would like to see in option 1 instead of, say, flowers or whatever.
If you
it
could
could be
pull
done
out-
that way too, rather than lift that and put that, take some of those and pop it back there and replace the flowers. Maybe that's an
Yeah.
easier process.
So if you could pull items from number 2 or 3 and put them into number 1 in place of the flowers, what would those items be?
The person drawing or painting on the sidewalk.
I agree.
Under the reel, like basically under the reel, put that person in there instead of the flower and
Yeah,
the dress. Oh, it's the ballerina.
I would say maybe the masks as well.
Move the masks into number 1.
Oddly enough, the computer is not resonating well with me.
No, same.
I think it's a typewriter.
I would almost take that out. It feels, yeah, the book is enough.
Keep getting Band-Aid.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would love the masks up in number 1. Maybe instead of a flower. In number 2, I love the ballerina on the side. Did you guys already say that? As opposed to maybe the camera. I mean, I see ballet shoes coming up, above the piano, but I love the flow of this ballerina here and her leg and the skirt. I mean, it's got more movement to me than just those 2 legs and ballet shoes sticking up from the piano.
So I wonder if we move, let's say, okay, let's look at number 1. If we move the camera to where the typewriter is, which is on the left, and remove the legs and put the ballerina where the camera is, that might allow for keeping, photography, adding ballet in a more full form item.
There might be a little skewed view though with the marching
The
band.
band.
So I'd allow the artist to obviously compose it. How they
Yeah,
want, of course.
absolutely.
They can shift
The way
things
they
around
want.
entirely, or
Yeah.
however they want to do that.
Yeah.
We're just saying some of those elements.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
And it could be a partial element, whatever. Yeah.
We should acknowledge that your thing is spread to me.
Sorry.
We should acknowledge that we did ask the artist to take out some of the people, and now we're saying, oh, put
Yes.
more people.
No, so
That's
you're
true.
right.
Um,
We did.
Yeah.
I just fully recognize that it seems backwards, but it's the way it's feeling right now.
Yeah, that could be too many people. That's a good point.
Well, you're right. And what about, our idea of directionality and cohesiveness coming from both directions? You know what I'm saying? Like on the street. What do we feel? How do we feel about the marching band going left to right? But if you're coming from the opposite end of the street, they're upside down. Do you know what I'm saying?
True.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just decided to spin it upside down and see how it looks.
Yeah, okay, that's a good
And,
idea.
If you spin it upside down, you can see that it's actually the full ballerina. It's not just the feet.
Oh yeah.
The top
yeah.
half is
Oh, you're
underneath
right.
the reel /
I
piano.
just saw that. Yeah,
That's good.
okay.
That is funny.
I did not notice
Then
that
let's
till
just
just
leave it
now.
at that.
Mhm.
Leave that element.
To me, I think the top one just flows better. I mean, the outlines of the vignettes, it's just not as cohesive to me. But I
When
do.
you say top one, you mean number one?
Number one, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, number one.
That's okay.
Maybe one way we can compromise without adding too many people is since you showed us the ballet thing, maybe we just leave that alone.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
on the painting, maybe we just take the upper right paintbrush and just enhance that, make that a little larger so that's more obvious. 'Cause that's so subtle. You see that in the upper
Yes.
right? It's just a
Mhm.
paintbrush instead of adding the more people. So
Is
instead
this
of
the
moving those
scale?
people up, maybe just move. Maybe
Or is it
just
gonna be
make that a
wider?
little
Is it
bit
pretty
more.
It'll
much?
be long.
Okay, it'll be longer. Okay.
It'll be a little bit
And then
long.
really all the shift is maybe moving the mass in and taking some of the flowers out. That's it. So it's more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like the lady or the woman sitting and painting,
Mm-hmm.
and while we can see the whole ballerina now, I'm not quite sure. Like maybe the feet are a little offset from the body, or it just somehow it. I definitely like the ballerina better than the other two.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we do the turn-in of the paperwork? What I'll end up doing is I'll send this live recording to Mayanthe with the decisions from your guys' paperwork, and she'll work on that. She and I have been talking today. She'll work on it tonight so we can have a design by tomorrow morning. I'll do a Slack message to the group. We can kind of come back from there. We can do a preliminary vote now if you like, or we can do an email vote once we get the final design tomorrow morning.
I think we've made enough comments that might. I think just email is probably the best way
Okay.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I can do that. Alrighty, so look out for an email from me tomorrow morning. I'll need to turn around the voting relatively quickly so we can get the A-frame out and we can get voting started it's not necessarily voting, but feedback started from the public. So just keep an eye out for that. I'll send a Slack so that you know where to look. That's all I have for that one.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Next up was other crosswalk art, but Sean's not here, so I don't think we're going to have an update on that. So we'll just pass on that. Then we'll go to the art guide. Susan.
Okay. So we had a little work session where we talked about ideas for that, and I'll just sort of give you a synopsis about what we talked about. But in terms of the art guide, we were trying to figure out, do we want, what's the area of coverage? So we decided the full town, but with focus on the downtown of Apex. And we'd have one map for downtown and then a second one for the rest of town for the the art. And then the art to include public art, so that would include murals, the town building on 55, the Apex Police Department mural, bus stops, and White Oak Creek Greenway mural that's currently in process. And then the sculptures would be our permanent pieces and then the sculpture walk pieces. But we might, since they change yearly, we were talking about doing, reference them but don't show specifics, and maybe add a QR code that people can access for that information. Other would be maybe manhole covers on the Greenway and crosswalks also. And then we do have a fair number of private art in the town and murals. There are a few that we were talking about: the coffee shop on Olive Chapel, Grow Preschool, Iona charging station. There's a church on 55. There is a big new school out 64 with a huge tiger mural. Have you seen that?
At TMSA.
Yes. Yeah.
It's okay. What is it? The Math
it's
and
the
Science
Academy.
Yes.
Academy?
That's really cool. And there's an tap station. And then there's an alley in town. Oh, the one behind you. No, behind your,
Oh, on Wicker modeling.
yes. And then,
There's two in
The-
that. There's two in that alley.
yeah. And then, what else?
No,
There's
sculptures
the-
too. We were going to include other sculptures around.
Yes,
town.
yes, other sculptures around town.
There's that church by the Habitat.
Uh-huh.
We
Oh,
have that
that's
on the
right.
list.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
that's what we were
That's the
thinking,
one
yeah.
on 55.
And
Oh,
then,
okay,
that's
sorry.
right, that's right, this church on 55. And there is another sculpture of a child outside of the preschool Primrose, but we weren't sure if this is one that's maybe mass produced, so we were gonna,
Yeah, we do I did a little research on that.
Yeah.
So it's probably not to be included.
Okay.
But we can talk on this.
we can talk about. Okay, and then the timing, we were thinking of doing it annually or as needed, and no really need to time it with the sculpture walk. So what we're looking to do is share photos of any other public art that we might have seen. Has anybody seen any others around
Well, I
town?
showed this evening, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a sculpture by the dentist by Lidl.
Yes, that one's on the list.
That's one.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, good call. Got that one on there. That's by Bob Doster, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks
It's been in our
familiar.
show. Yeah, a couple times.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
And then out of town, there's a bunch. I mean,
So anyway, if you do come up with some, take a photo,
Mhm.
share the location, and be considered. But we do need to go through a process, right, with private companies
Yep.
to make sure they're comfortable with inclusion in there, and it's okay if they don't want to, but if they want to, that'll work too. So
Yes,
Okay.
so I'll be working with legal to come up with it'll essentially be a one-page agreement with a private company where that will get approval to share photos and, get information from the artist.
all right, are you what's the timing on that? So is it okay if we start that process of reaching out to these locations, or I mean, probably best to have that document first, but
We can definitely
what's the
reach
timing?
out and start getting their interest. And then I'll be able to finalize that with legal. Yeah, because
Is
it'll be an
there
agreement
timing on the
between-
document though with legal? I don't want to reach out with people and then have it be, many months later,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Be good
the
to-
last time I talked to legal is, it was because we were going to be starting the actual book write-up in July.
Mhm.
So I can get a better agreement time with them, which would be before then.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't have a timeline.
Okay,
right now.
yeah, if you can let us know, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay.
Lafayette.
Hey.
All right. Anything else on that one? Okay, Peak Fest. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I will be down there for a time. Anyone else who can spend some time down there, let me know. We can kind of work it out so we can, staff the location and kind of share time down there. We're going to have a couple of large poster board type things on an easel, but we'll be sharing space with the Parks and Rec tent as well. So, so it's fairly low key, but there will be a presence. So it's an opportunity to just interact with the public and share all the great things that are going on. So, please let me know if you can spend some time down there, and we can tag team the hours.
Are we gonna have stickers by then? Forgot about stickers. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
What was the date?
First weekend in May.
May 3rd.
First Saturday in May.
May 3rd.
Anything we need on the poster stuff, Taylor, or is that all in progress?
Nope, it should be done any day now, which will then go over to get printed.
All right, great. Thank you. If you don't mind sending whatever the image looks like, just electronically, that would be great. Thank you. All right. Video project. Taylor. Yeah.
Alrighty. So the video projects, let's see here. Permits are now pending the aesthetics of the project. So PAC has worked on some ideas and came to a consensus to do an art wrap using panels. This has been submitted to planning as a part of the project approval process. The panel project was also proposed to Electricities. This is a company that is offering out grants, one specifically called Downtown Revitalization Grant, and that is something that I applied for PAC to specifically get assistance for the cost of the coverage of the art wrap for this project. We should find out by June, July if the money has been granted for this specific project. Our conversations with the Durham Production Company have been on hold for a little while because we're trying to figure out a firm timeline for this project because it is also then tied to the specific budget year. As everyone knows, our budget year ends end of June, starts a new one July 1st. So we're trying to get as much done within this budget year as possible. So I'm hoping we can contract and pay before the end of the budget year for the Durham Production Company. But because we've had so many permit stalls with the permitting for the project, it's just been kind of on hold until we get the full thumbs up from the many departments that review that. The Durham Production Company does plan on exploring a 15-minute history-based video that they're going to create from scratch, as well as a 15-minute community-based exhibition of works. They have a plan in place for both of these items and are just waiting until we have a firm opening date planned. So what you're seeing in front of you on the left is a rendering from the technology company that we've been working with, Avcon. You'll see the side of the Halley with a Vincent van Gogh-esque projection, and then you'll see the projector box with the four-legged stand and the compressor. Next to that image, you'll also see the rendering that Sean Durham put together for us. So on the left part of that image is essentially just a mock-up of what the structure will look like at plain sight, right from the side. And then next to that on the right is his drawing of two specific panels, one on the top section and one on the bottom section. So you'll see some wisps on the top and like a big thumbs up. Those are just to designate one panel from the next panel. You'll see those are essentially, the top one is 5 feet by 4.5 feet, and then 5 feet by almost just over 7.5 feet. So one of the things that I'll be working with the technology company is that top panel is going to be encompassing the compressor. So I don't want to box in the compressor too much based on the fans and whatnot, so I'll see if we can do 2 sides or 3 sides, but the idea is as many sides as possible of that structure will be covered with metal painted or metal printed panels. That's the idea for that one.
Have you thought about perforated metal with
I've not worked on materials for the metal quite yet, just working through the beginning stages of that. I know that with the size of these sheets, it's quite specific. We would have to manufacture a very specific sizing of that. So I'm open to getting information about more affordable, large sheets, where we can go to get those. I've done
And the other
research.
option for the upper compressor section is like a louver or something like that, that can allow the free airflow that it'll
Yeah.
need. So if you want, I can talk to those guys
Yeah.
about that.
the concept of perforated metal is you can get a sheet of metal with designated holes in it, and it might be, say, 50% open versus 50% material,
Okay.
and then you can like get it wrapped,
Yeah.
and they just cut out all the little holes, and you can
Yeah.
still see the design, but it gets airflow.
That actually might be good for both levels of the sculpture wrap here, not only the compressor level, but also the lower level, because of the wind blow as we blow into a completely forced metal piece of sheet. Essentially, we're going to have a lot more force than if we did a perforated sheet of metal. So I appreciate that suggestion.
They just sell that by like large 10-foot long, 4-foot wide sheets, so you can cut it to whatever size you want.
Okay, well, no, that's good to know because we've got some
Is that 5
size.
foot width? So if it's 5 feet wide, then do you have to have 3 4-foot tall sections
Right.
to get the height?
Yeah, it's been tricky getting, it's not been hard getting metal quotes for the top. It's been tricky getting metal quotes for the bottom piece. But that's where we're at with that specific project, is it's pending this art wrap idea approval, and then as soon as we get that, what will happen is electric will put in all of the electricity that will go to that site. The structure fabricator is already starting the fabrication of that structure. So essentially all they'll have to do is come in with electric and they'll put in the footings and they'll work with a concrete worker to make sure that that's nice and stable. And then Avcon, who is our technology company, will come in with electric as well. They'll get everything hooked up with a nice proper meter base to make sure there's no one messing around with our electricity with this project. And then we'll finalize the piece and be able to start routing things to the projector. And that's where we're at.
Anything else on that one?
The schedule of the projections, what is there a particular cadence of change of when things will go up, go down?
It will only be
environment.
when it's dark out.
Right, but I mean,
But
the content
we don't
of what we-
have. We don't have any requirements one way or another. We're going through the process of putting together the guidance for artists as they apply. But right now we don't have applicants for that because we have a moving target essentially right now.
Well, I think you meant how much time it would be projecting. Is that what you?
Not in terms of the time, but just how will we cycle through different content?
Yeah.
How long, the duration? Is there a guidance? Or are we just going to be kind of, whatever we kind of feel like?
It'll vary on the content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it'll be seasonal, obviously, for obvious reasons, but in between that time, just wondering.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we don't have any guidance as to how long a video submission can be versus not. Right now, the plan is for, the first few months when this goes up, it will be circling through the opening project, which is the Durham Production Company project. So that's a 30-minute loop essentially, and that'll go from sundown to sunup, and then we'll work on gathering not only video but also still image as well, so that we can kind of work all of that into a process.
And the timing, what we had kind of recommended would be just a couple nights a week and kind of cut off at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, something like that. Won't run all night. But we'll see, and I'm sure we'll flex it and adjust as it's out there.
So, just from a social media standpoint, there's nothing that would preclude us from putting things out there, like to show it, like to post stuff on social media any more than we would our other art projects. There's nothing that would stop us from showing the videos that are playing or things like that.
Yeah, so like advertising the projects themselves as a part of. Yeah, no, we don't have any limitations to that. The artists will still own their own work, with the exception of items that we commission to have done.
So I'm the admin on 2 big Apex pages, and I'm about to launch a 3rd.
Okay.
Pulse of the Peak, and I just want to put this kind of information on there, because they're pretty big pages, and if there's nothing stopping me, I would like to do that when we, Actually, I could be doing it more.
Content on those, because you might want.
Well, that's what I was asking.
You might want to
It
reserve
depends
that for
on
the
the
location.
type of.
Telling about it.
Right,
Yeah.
telling about
That's
it.
a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the approach we would want to take,
Okay.
right? This
Yeah.
way, the content's special when you're there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it all
got
depends
you.
on the rights of the artist. So when we build each individual contract, just like we did with Sean Kernick, who's doing the White Oak Creek mural, the mural that's going over at the Salem Street crosswalk, it will all be contingent on if the town owns that design or if the artist will remain to own the design. So like right now, our temporary sculptures are not owned by the town. They're still owned by the artists who created them. But the permanent sculptures that we've purchased are ones that we can use in advertisements, in our program guides, we can put them on socials, all of that. So it really depends on what we own. And honestly, what we want to share, that's not right in front of the building.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, good stuff. Anything else on that one?
Nothing else on that.
Do we have a ballpark time frame?
We've been shooting for July. I'd love to have all of this contracted and paid for in this budget year. So technically June 30, but we're just pending approval. We've had this application under review for 5 months now. So it keeps going from one person to another, and we've seen multiple iterations of the project.
Anything else on that one? All right. Next one is new business. So the Earth Fest mural.
Alrighty. So, Earthfest mural. I've got a couple new business items, so I figure I'll just stay up here. Okay, so the Earth Fest mural, as you can see on the screen here, this is an image of an in-progress piece that is by the artist Autumn Copeland. She is creating this for Earth Fest, which is this coming Saturday, the 26th, on town campus. The image is of Apex Community Park. The organizers of this festival wanted me to make you aware that this piece was being commissioned by the town and will be on display at Earth Fest. It's not anything to vote on. It is simply, here is some new art that the town has commissioned as a part of an event. And the artist will be on hand on Saturday to sell and sign prints and answer any questions about her artwork. And the organizers of the town of Apex, who are organizing Earth Fest, were interested in seeing if PAC would share this project on their social media.
You say a mural?
Yes, it's
on a wall somewhere? Is it?
It's not on a wall. It's a banner.
Oh, it's a banner.
It's a banner.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a flexible type of thing.
Yep.
What's the intent of where it will be used?
I'm not sure where they've decided on putting this one. I can get more information though.
Okay.
Do you have an idea of the size of the banner?
I don't.
Okay.
Is it painted or printed?
I believe it is painted because this is in process.
It's nice.
But we're happy to share things, of course, that are like this, but maybe just a little bit more info so
Absolutely.
we know, what to share.
Sure thing. Well, I'll get it to you as soon as possible so we can get it up before the festival. But yeah, that's another piece of art.
Perfect.
For
And
the town.
that's this weekend?
Yes, that's Saturday. The festival starts at noon, I believe. I think it goes till 4 or 6.
Okay,
And it's right here on campus.
great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so my second new business is more of an information on the next meeting, which is May 12th. I will be assisted by the clerk's office. I will not be here. I will be out of the office. So you will see a member of the clerk's office leading the meeting. It will be the exact same way as if I was here. They'll have my notes. I'll have already talked to Sean and Tom about the projects that I need to give updates on. But just so you know, I will not be here at our May 12th meeting. Okay. I shared your work session notes to the clerk's office right after your meeting in March, and they were extremely receptive and appreciative of the feedback. If members of the current committee are at the end of their term, now's the time to scan your QR code and apply if you'd like to be a part of the board again. That would be Brad, Susan, and Ewan. Brad and Susan, yours is up, but because of this process, they extended your terms, and then Ewan, yours ends in June or July. So if you'd like to reapply and be a part of the review for the board again, go ahead and at any time you can scan the QR code. You should have that in front of you as well. And then Tom and I have a meeting with the clerk's office in May to discuss the items that were in the work session, as well as next steps for the committee. So what the name will be, what the function, decisions on the function will be, any conversations about having regular work sessions, location, those kinds of items. I've asked them to talk to us about so we can have a full report at the May 12th meeting. I already talked about the stickers, so those will be delivered before Peak Fest, so those will be out. And then let's see here. You may have seen in the Public Art Committee emails that you receive a calendar invite from a Town of Apex employee named Tyler Gumpright. He works for the Town of Apex. This is a good email. I would encourage you to attend what he is promoting. He's a part of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources. The event that he's promoting is on Tuesday, May 6th from 4:30 to 6:30. This is the West Street Park Reimagining session. It would be absolutely amazing for some members of the Public Art Committee to be present, as you are all great assets to the art world coming into parks. So we want to make sure that Parks dives into the project with the idea of public art either being a part of the reimagining session or something that can be moved into in the future once it is finally reimagined. And that's from Tyler Gumpright. That is Tuesday, May 6th, 4:30 to 6:30. It's free to attend. It's right around the corner. And if you need a reminder, I can always send out another invite, but you should have gotten one from Tyler. Okay, and that's all I have.
Great stuff. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that brings us to the end of our agenda, but we'll open it to see if there's anything anyone wants to raise that we didn't talk about.
Which one did you select?
We made some input, and then it will, we're gonna get an email with those revisions, and then we'll all reply to that email with our thoughts. Yeah. All right.
This is, it might not be related to public art, but it is in a way. What's the status of Apex having or becoming a social district? Is that in the works? And when is that, you thinking, gonna happen?
I don't know go live date. I have a meeting in May that I'm attending about.
Okay, okay,
So we'll find out, maybe have some updates at the next meeting from the
Okay.
clerk's office.
okay. Sounds
What does that entail?
Sorry?
What does that entail?
The social district?
I mean, I've seen it in other areas, but like, what does it entail for Apex?
Well, I'm learning more about it at the meeting in May, more specifically because the building that I manage is in downtown. It would be a specific set from, a specific map that is open to a social district. So some of the breweries and whatnot are able to allow alcohol out and onto the street. And then some businesses are able to elect in or out of allowing alcohol back into their business. Bethany, actually, you're a downtown business owner. You might know more than I do.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when the meet. I was just looking to see when the meeting was because I was trying to remember the meeting that you're going to. I'm sure I'm going to. But basically, the businesses have to opt in to whether or not they're going to sell the alcohol, and then you'll have to have a cup that is similar to downtown Cary has one, and I believe Fuquay has one.
Yeah, they do.
So we're still getting. I know that the council approved it. We just haven't heard all the details about how it's going to work and when the start date is. So I think that's part of what we're meeting. I think it's next month. Or is it
Yeah,
May?
it's in May.
Yeah, it's in
So the ethos of a social district is really the accommodation of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, there's certain times that certain times
Okay.
that
I didn't know that.
it would be happening, and the rules about opting in and certain types of cups that you would have to use.
This provides a benefit to the alcohol serving businesses. Is that?
Yeah, and just the businesses as far as retailers, like if my shop is open, then maybe people will be able to walk around and and it also changes things a little bit for some of the festival. I think sometimes having an event, like I don't know if it would maybe apply or not apply if somebody wanted to have an event where like if Pig Fest was downtown. I don't know if that applies to that social district, but similar to other towns, it kind of changes the rules about having an event. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what the word social meant, so I didn't know it was loaded.
It's a little vague.
Yeah.
All right. If there's no other business, then we'll anyone have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
There's a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
There's a second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.